Hey there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and welcome to Christy's Beautiful Life round 7 of her 30 days of sketches. I'm using this sketch today and I took it in a little bit different direction. I did do circles and I just have one photo on it because I didn't have a lot of photos that I could use that really worked with the circles without cutting out a portion of the photo that I really wanted to use. But I did have this photo of my grandson with his other grandma reading, and because I am the one who's doing most of the scrapbook stuff for his album, I don't have a ton of photos of her with him, and so I wanted to make sure I used this one and that it makes it into his album. So that's why I decided to use it. So I went through a bunch of my Chamel products and I pulled stuff that I thought went well together. So I pulled 3 or 4 different papers that would work in these circles. I started with that camera photo, or the camera paper, and I chose some papers that would go with it, the teal and the purple. And then I'm also going to pull in the dark blue. And you can see I have some Catherine Pooler inks lined up at the top of my screen there. And I am going to do some mixed media. I'm not going to do all of those little banner flags that are hanging down. I thought about it, but then I thought, you know what, it would be a lot more fun if it was like mixed media dripping down. So that's what I'm going with. So I have a piece of plastic here and I'm just taping it off because I want to make sure the top of my page stays mixed media free, and I have a tendency to spray the wrong direction and it ends up with some splatter up in that area as well. So I decided to tape it off and put some plastic over it, and somehow I still get some ink up there, but anyway, that was the general plan. So this paper does not have gesso on it. It is just regular white cardstock, and it is not soaking in really quickly because I am making sure that I have it tilted and it has plenty of gravity to help it run, and then it will soak in a little quicker because there is no gesso keeping it on top of the paper. So that light purple that's all the way on the right hand side is not really dark enough for my liking, so I ended up going over it a couple of times, and that's what you saw me doing there. And then I did want the blue to have a little bit bigger of an impact, that dark blue, so I went over it a little bit more. And then that's where I kind of left it. And then I wanted to add some mixed media right down the center, so I have this stencil and it's from Art Anthology, I believe, and it's called Dot Matrix. And so I am mixing that same it's called Juniper Mist, that's the name of the color, and it's a Catherine Pooler ink. I am mixing it with some texture paste. It's actually called embossing paste. And I got that from a friend of mine, so I don't even know where to tell you to buy it, but that's what it's called. But it just works just like texture paste. You could mix your ink right into texture paste as well and get the same type of effect. I don't want it to be fully covered, like I don't want coverage over every single dot. I just want to give it a nice random sampling of color, maybe, I don't know. And that top portion that has a blank area in the middle, that is by design because I know that that big circle is going to cover that area, so I didn't want to waste the texture paste in that particular area. I wanted to use it down below instead. And I do really love how this comes out. And because my paper was taped down when I pulled the tape off the edges, it sometimes leaves a mark, so I tend to usually just cut 1/8 of an inch off of all 4 sides, and then I mount it onto a different piece of paper. I just like the way it looks. Sometimes I go around it with a stitch on my sewing machine, but in this particular case I didn't do that, but I am going to mount it on another piece of paper like I mentioned. I think it finishes it nicely, and then you don't see any of the tape lines if the tape happens to have peeled off any of your paper, or if your mixed media didn't go all the way to the edge. Well, it wouldn't go all the way to the edge because the tape is covering it. So that is why I end up cutting that off, and then I went ahead and used that washi tape that is from Chamel, And I knew I was going to use that washi tape, which is one of the reasons that I pulled in all of those colors, because I pre-planned the washi and that camera paper to work together. Now beyond that, I don't have a lot planned, but I did find this other washi tape in one of the Chamel sticker folders, and so I am pulling that in, and I do realize there's a couple other little colors in there like the red and the yellow, which I don't mind because that's also in that stack of books. And the stack of books is from one of her older collections as well, and I want to say it's from Little by Little, but I could not swear to that. So then I went through and I looked at these 3 different pieces of paper for backgrounds, or for the edging, and I decided to use this one that is from, oh, I don't even know what the name of this company is. It's just a sample piece of paper that I got from a friend of mine, so I don't even have a lot of it. And I'm going to go ahead and use it. I know the paper line is called Shenanigans or something like that, and you know, I can't even read it as it flies by on my screen, so I can't tell you that, but I do like it because it has the lighter blue on one side and the darker blue at the bottom, and so that's how I decided to position it rather than having the lighter on one side and the darker on the other. I really did like that Future Explorer chipboard, and I really could have used that. I really like how it looks on the screen as I see it right now, but what I ended up going with was these foam thickers that say "See the World," and in that little purpley pink lavender circle, I'm going to use some little tiny tile stickers that will say through a book. So see the world through a book. And that's because she's reading to him, and he really does love books, and so, you know, reading with kids, it's super important to encourage that when they're young, and so I just wanted to capture it. And he has a tendency to not want to sit still these days, at least when I'm there. He doesn't want to sit still. He is 2, and so, you know, busy, gotta go explore. But so anytime you have time to read to a little guy or a little girl, it's super important to nurture that love of books. At least that's how I feel. And so I wanted to capture that, like I said. As far as embellishments go, I'm keeping it pretty simple. I'm just using these foam stars that go with that title. And then I'm going to add a tab. And I'm also going to punch or die cut another circle, like that small circle, but I'm going to, it's going to be a little bit darker in purple, and I'm going to use only like 3/4 of it. And I am just using my Sidekick there, and that pink die is from Bo Bunny. I've had those in my stash for quite a while. I use them all the time. I don't even know if they're still available, but it is from Bo Bunny if that's something that you're interested in. And then I played around with where I would want that tab, and then I end up putting it up here at the top. So I do like how that looks. And here's that circle die, and those are circles that are stitched, so they have that stitched edge around them, which I think is a really nice detail. So I'm going to go ahead and put that one up there, and that is pretty much how my layout's going to look. I do end up adding some more stars up in that area, and I do have to do a little bit of Frankensteining of the stars because all I have left are the really big ones, and I want to add some small ones. Now, you might wonder why I put my Sidekick there, but it's because I stuck that liquid glue underneath because of the mixed media. I apologize for my head in the way. Obviously, I need some hair dye, but you know, COVID has prevented that, at least for the short term here. So I put my Sidekick on top of that just to hold the photo down while that glue had just a few minutes to kind of set up. And here I go with Frankensteining the stars, and I'm going to work on that, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about this series. So this is the first day of Christy's Beautiful Life, session 7 or round 7. I'm not even sure if it's a session, a round, or what. It's the 7th time that she's done this, and it's an entire month of sketches. And so there is a layout every single day for the month of March, and I am going to try to play along every day. We'll see how I do. I don't have them all in the can at the moment, but I do have the first few days already filmed. I have to go through and make the edits and voice them, but I'm hoping to get them all done. So you can check out my channel for the rest of the month and see if I'm keeping up with her. You can also check out Christy's channel, which is Christy's Beautiful Life, and there will be a bunch of other ladies playing along throughout the month, and they are all going to be linked down below in my description box. So go and check them out. I hope you really enjoy this and find a lot of inspiration for yourself by way of sketches and by way of how we interpret those sketches. So thanks so much for watching. Close-ups are coming up in just a few moments. I really appreciate the time you've taken today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye now.